In my last video, I talked about the misinformation about VRR not working on Xbox when you're using console in game mode. Now, I did show a fix, if you can really call it that, where if you're willing to compromise and not tell the TV to throw away extra processing, then you can use other modes outside of game mode if you're playing something casual, like a first-person storytelling game, like a lot of PlayStation users and even Xbox users will be doing this generation. My point is simply to highlight that you can still game on this TV. I don't know how many people need to hear this, but there's nothing wrong with the gaming experience, and this issue is being overblown to something that it really isn't. Now, I was told that, I guess, I'm not comparing apples to apples, or I'm still wrong because the variable refresh rate just doesn't work in game mode with 120 hertz. And because I wasn't showing 120 hertz, there's no way that I could possibly know what I was talking about. I'm one for covering my bases. Now, unlike a lot of the people who gave in to the scalpers and bots, I didn't do that. I have an Xbox One S sitting here, and I can still show you the vast majority of everything you need to know. Okay, so what I'm going to do to prove that is we're going to go into our settings. We're going to go into our TV and display options. You can see I set it to 1080p, 120 hertz. I did this for two reasons. The first reason, as the console isn't an HDMI 2.1 device that can show 4K 120 hertz, this is the best that I can show you on the Xbox Series, or Xbox One S rather. Okay, if I said Series S, by the way, my bad, I meant the One S. Again, this is the best that this console can show you, but also when you're in those 120 hertz modes, it's so important that you guys realize those are performance modes. They throw away graphical fidelity for the sake of refresh rates. So you're still going to be seeing about a 1080p to 1440p image anyway. And 9 times out of 10, it's closer to 1080p. We're talking the lowest textures possible, medium shadows if you're lucky, to low shadows, or sometimes they're just disabled altogether. I mean, every single key thing, anisotropic filtering, anti-aliasing, all the important features are turned down to the absolute lowest level to give you that 120 hertz. That's why most gamers don't use it anyway. So, might not be a big deal. But I'll digress and we'll show you what you want to show, or what will be shown. But at the end of the day, do take into account that even though I'm showing 1080p here, it's pretty much going to be a roughly similar experience graphically in some areas, and obviously other areas will be different. Yes, the Xbox is more powerful, but given all the downgrades, you're still back at a 1080p image anyway. So there we are. Okay then. So we have to make sure we do the next step, otherwise everybody's just going to laugh at this video. Go to video modes. Variable refresh rate is ticked. This is the big thing that gives you the variable refresh rate that people think that you just aren't getting. But it's also important to note that, you know, the variable refresh rate technology is still very new, like I've been saying, and you are obviously having problems across the board with every manufacturer. You have LG, who has a dimming problem with even G-Sync, which they've been doing now for, what, at least 2 years. You have Sony, who won't even offer VRR because clearly they haven't even figured it out yet. You have Samsung, who disables local dimming altogether in gaming mode, period, and there is no fix for that, right? So even though you can go to different levels of local dimming, it literally doesn't work because you'll have clouding and blooming everywhere. Millions of gamers can attest to that own Samsung TVs. And my point is this, there is nothing wrong with this Hisense, right? And people think because Hisense sent this unit to me for a brutally honest review, that I'm somehow shilling or damage controlling or trying to say something nice for the sake of Hisense. Let me be very clear for anybody with that misunderstanding. I'm not for sale, okay? I've never been and I never will be. Hisense approached me to give that honest review that I'm giving right now. The good and the bad, you're gonna hear about it as you have throughout this entire review process. And this is one of those things where there is a problem that they should fix, I suppose, if you really want to use game mode and VRR and all that other stuff in 4K at 120 hertz. By all means, if they want to fix it, they can fix it. But if you're somebody that's, again, you're doing, you know you're going to use the performance mode, so you lower it to 1080p at 120 hertz, and which, by the way, on these newer consoles will give you better graphical fidelity than those performance modes would, the regular ones for 4K. Just saying, be creative. I say that all the time, right? you're able to do stuff like this. Here we are, we're in game mode. You guys can see, go down to the advanced settings, go down to the very bottom, you see FreeSync checked off, then we go up to the top, and then bam, local dimming set to high, and it is fully adjustable. I can set it however I want. I can turn it off, I can turn it to low. I can do whatever I want, right? My message is very simple. It's not that Hisense has nothing to fix. It's not that Hisense will somehow be able to skirt responsibility that the fact that 4K 120 Hz with HDR and VRR is a problem. That's not the message. The message is, if you are a gamer and you were turned off by Joelster G4K's video because he said local dimming and VRR do not work together, well, you're seeing it in real time. That is misinformation. He didn't check every resolution. He didn't check every kind of way you can hook it up. He didn't know to uncheck settings. There are things he just didn't know to do. And that's common sense stuff when you're talking about refresh rates. And look, we have variable refresh rate, allow VRR, right? 120 Hertz. There you go. We have all of that stuff, man. And my message is a very simple one. If you want to game your way, have your fun, but you can do 1080p, 120 Hertz. You can have VRR selected. Where is VRR? Allow variable refresh rates. There we go. And go back into our game. And again, it's there. Your local dimming is there. I don't understand why this is being blown up to the level that it is, why people are making it a bigger deal than it is, especially when most people are probably not going to be doing that. So just kind of wanted to put this out there. I want to thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty. And until the next video,